Well, a staple in the Kings Crossing neighborhood is finally seeing its last days, even though it's been closed for up to 10 years. The old clubhouse has been a hazard and an eyesore ever since, and now there is a new proposal to build a new clubhouse and restore the subdivision's golf course.
Our Taylor Alanis has the update on this top story tonight. Taylor?
Mackenzie, Joe, the Kings Crossing HOA says the old clubhouse has acquired some damage over the years thanks to trespassers, critters, and other unwelcome guests. So bad that it was considered unrestorable by architects, and whether or not a new facility will replace it is in neighbors' hands. Residents have the chance to vote on a proposal for a new, over 18,000 square foot clubhouse and a restored golf course. The Homeowners Association would run the new facilities, but they would collect a $75 a month fee to maintain them.
Everybody would have to be a social member, which gets you everything but the golf. That would be swimming, splash pad, tennis courts, workout area, dining hall, meeting rooms.
Kings Crossing HOA President Robert Cagle says a full golf membership would cost a little extra, but building a new clubhouse would give residents a chance to socialize more and build better relationships with their neighbors.
They're going to put a patio where you can go out and have a glass of wine, watch the sun go down over Oso Creek, because it's nice in the evening here in a lot of places, most of the year.
Cagle says September 15th will be the final vote on the decision to build a new clubhouse and restore the golf course or not. The proposal needs 2/3 of the residents' approval to go forward. Residents can vote at the September 15th meeting by proxy or online. And demolishing the old clubhouse will take at least 3 months, but if the proposal does pass, Cagle says he hopes everything will be open by 2020. In studio, Taylor Alanis, 3 News.